Happy Tuesday. Monday was the inauguration of a new president, and I was able to listen to that. Monday night, I had a meeting at church. We talked about updating two rooms, one built in probably 94, so 31 years ago. The other one built in 64, so 61 years ago. And I also listened to the Hubert Davis show, and reminded me of the fact that North Carolina is a blue blood program. I really, really like Coach Davis. I wish him all the best in the world, but North Carolina is not used to kind of being where they are right now. They've almost lost as many games so far as they normally lose in a whole season. And so I don't know what the future is going to hold, but that's one thing that is incredibly clear, and that is that change is inevitable. Carolina better make some changes if they're going to have the kind of season that Carolina fans are used to. Our government is going through a change, a transition from one administration to the next. Our church is looking to make some changes to bring us better positioned to minister and influence for the next generation or two in our facility. And so all of that is important. And it reminds me, as we go through the book of Exodus, that God is showing his people a different side of himself than they've ever seen before. We learn a lot about God in the book of Genesis, but in Exodus, God reveals himself and says, I am the Lord, and here are these 10 commandments in Exodus chapter 20. In Exodus, God begins to shower manna from the wilderness, from heaven on the floor of the desert every day for 40 years, save the Sabbath day. For 40 years. God had never done that before. God grants water from a rock, things that he had never done before. He's revealing more of himself to his people, while God himself does not change. Sometimes the way he deals with people, individuals, humanity through the history does change. We call those dispensations. Those changes, those various identifying marks. And so being prepared for change and adapting to change and glorifying God in the midst of change and discerning his will through change, all of that is so critically important. And the bottom line is this: if we don't change, we die. We're recognizing change all around us. Your body has changed so much in the last 10 or 20 years. You may not want to think about all those changes, but we are constantly changing. That is a sign of life. It's even a sign of health. And so we receive those changes. We continue to follow the Lord and do what he wants us to do. And I hope you will have a great, great Tuesday today, all for his glory. God bless.